What would be the thinking behind that?
I mean, I think his own, the British justification was at that time that if states become independent, that it will become complicated.
Okay. To simplify the whole equation.
Just to simplify the whole equation.
Okay.
That there should be only two nations, because that
it's
was
less work for them as well.
Because that was the understanding of British then, and unfortunately, that to this day, their main understanding is that they look at things in South Asia through religion.
Okay.
They say there's a Muslim and there are Hindus.
Okay.
So don't go into anything else.
Sure.
Just stay simple for us so we can understand you better. I can say sarcastically, but obviously it's not. They have done very, very detailed studies of that region. But that is the only logic I can see, that they wanted the only two countries rather than more than two.
Sure.
Although the cabinet mission, which was sent before Lord Mountbatten, they didn't accept the separate country of Pakistan. That idea, they said the India will be a united unit. A union of different states and provinces.
Okay.
They all will be states and provinces.
Okay.
They all will be one federal union.
So almost like the United States is today.
That is what they proposed or argued for.
Right.
But obviously then it did not work that way. And at the same time, there was another point of view on that, which is also very, very important for people to know, and that was by the left parties in India, the communists and all other left parties. Sure. They said in South Asia, which is called today South Asia, at that time Indian or British India or whole princely and provinces Indian, there are not one or two nations. They identified at least 15 nations.
Okay. Well, obviously the whole continent is so culturally so divided.
Yeah. They say it's not only one issue of one nation or two nations. There are at least 15 nations, and all nations should be given autonomy, and they should form a confederation.
Right.
Where some of the affairs like communication, defense, and foreign affairs, etc., should be managed by center, a central body, and then the rest of the affairs should be managed and governed by the local governments elected by local people.
So that is similar. So rather than the United States, it's more in the structure of what we have today in the European Union.
Yes.
Where certain issues are managed by Brussels and the rest of them are managed by local national issues.
Yeah, so there were these options or these viewpoints as well. But obviously these viewpoints were not the ones that were carried out by the majority of people or by those who were more influential and powerful. Sure. So in that context, when Mountbatten advised different rulers to become part of one or the other dominion, but Hyderabad, the ruler of Hyderabad, he wanted to stay independent. Junagadh, the ruler of Junagadh, there was a clear-cut intention amongst some of the quarters to go with Pakistan.
From Junagadh?
From Junagadh. Okay. And the Kashmiri Maharaja also clearly stated his intention for independence.
Okay.
And at that stage, it is very interesting that while Congress again and again reiterated that ruler does not have right to decide the fate of people.
Sure.
It is people who should decide. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah said it is the ruler who can decide because they had agreements and treaties, so it makes them legitimate rulers. Sure. But when it came to, all the states decided long before 15th of August, that the 1948, that was the date set by, the British administration, that everything will be decided before that, and that will be the day of independence.
Okay. Can I just clarify one point there? Because for us it's very important. So, out of all the princely states, I think we're going to get the map up of the princely states again in a minute.
Yeah.
But out of the princely states, Junagadh, who else? Kashmir
Hyderabad.
And Hyderabad. The ruling princes or Maharajas, they wanted to be independent. Now, their claim for independence, that was legal. That is, from my point of view, that's the critical point. So that was a legal claim because the preceding acts made that option clear.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Okay.
And from legal point of view, it was up to rulers if they whatever decision they want to make.
Sure.
If you see the law within the framework of the British rule,
Okay.
yeah, and but politically, they all were forced not to go to that direction. India managed to sort of capture Hyderabad and Junagadh by force.
Right. Okay.
Through internal sort of disturbances,
uprising
but then sending in troops and capturing it.
How does that apply now, this background that you've highlighted? Because that's very important for us to understand the whole context of partition. How does all that misinterpretation or the legalities, how does that apply to Kashmir? How did it apply to Kashmir at that time?
Yeah. Well, all other states were virtually sort of merged either in Pakistan or India.
Right.
Majority in India. The only one state that was, that still remains a sort of reason for their wars and all the conflicts and tension and violence and fights is Kashmir. Yeah.
Sure.
All other states are, not necessarily they all were happy,
Sure.
but they were forced one way or another to become part of India and Pakistan. In Kashmir, the situation was like I explained it last week that India and Pakistan both invaded. They both sent their armies. Though there were internal issues between Maharaja and the Kashmiri political parties and political sort of movements, but both countries eventually sent their armies in Kashmir, and they had their first war in 1947 in Kashmir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but why did they send their armies in? If the Maharaja is saying that I want to remain independent and it's a legal claim, on what basis then did Pakistan and India send their forces in?
Yeah. Well, that is another aspect to understand that point. There is another aspect which we need to know is that from Lord Mountbatten, the options, one was technically to be independent. The other was, which also was encouraged, that standstill agreement.
Okay.
That carry on the arrangements with these areas as they were before.
Okay.
As they were during the British time.
Sure.
So, standstill, Maharaja offered to both India and Pakistan on 12th of August 1947. He sent sort of letters to telegrams to Pakistan and to India. Pakistan accepted it, but India said somebody needs to come over to Delhi to discuss it further.
Okay.
And Pakistan thought that because they are delaying, so they might have some other plans.
Okay.
So obviously Pakistan had links with the areas which are sort of
Close to Pakistan.
Close to Pakistan. So they knew what is going on in there, and I think they tried to use that situation to overthrow Maharaja or whatever.
Sure.
And then India and Maharaja, when saw that the lot of people from tribal areas, they are coming towards Srinagar and all that, he fled and he asked India to send troops to help. And then India said, well, you have to sign the accession. So from Indian point of view, it is claimed that Maharaja did sign the accession. But from Pakistani point of view, and some international researcher like Alistair Lamb and others, sure, they contest that there was any accession document signed on that date, okay, of 26th January.
So it's just cross-accusation.
So there is dispute about the legality of accession document. Okay. But Indian claim is that was signed, and after that they sent troops in. That is what their argument is. And so then that is how Indian and Pakistani armies, afterwards Pakistani armies also went in. So that is how the Pakistani army and Indian army started fighting in Kashmir, okay, in October 1947. So
in October 1947, so India and Pakistan were formed on the 14th of August.
Yes, Pakistan was declared independent on 14th and India was 15th.
Okay. So what I want to ask you is, between the time of 14th and 15th of August to the invasions by India and Pakistan in October, what position did Kashmir have in those 2 months?
Kashmir was an independent country. It was not part of Pakistan. It was not under Pakistan. It was not under India. It was not under Britain. It was an independent country, minus recognition by United Nations. Of course, United Nations did not recognize Kashmir as independent country during that time.
Right.
But technically, legally, in every sense, it was an independent country.
Well, whether the United Nations recognized or not, the point was, according to the legal framework of partition, Kashmir was established as an independent state.
It was.
It then got invaded by India and Pakistan with the intentions of...
To capture all of it.
Yeah, with the intentions of securing Kashmir for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that, for us, is crucial, because this whole concept of Kashmiri independence, it seems like a modern concoction.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not then.
Yeah.
Because for a certain period of time, Kashmir was legally an independent state, which was then invaded by the two neighboring countries. And occupied by the two neighboring countries.
Yes. That is the historical interpretation. That's the historical fact.
Okay.
That Kashmir was not part of India, was not part of Pakistan. It was an independent country, and two armies went in, and they claim, the politicians of India and Pakistan, they argue and they claim that they went in to protect Kashmir.
Right.
And that is the responsibility they took when the case was taken to United Nations, which we will talk about in a minute. So they claim that, but actually they went in. They sent in armies to a state which was independent and which had a multi-party democracy, flourishing within its boundary.
Sure.
Pakistan claims that they went in to save Muslims from Hindu Maharaja, and Indian claims that they came in to save Hindu from Pakistani invaders.
Okay.
But in reality, the situation was not such in Kashmir that there was some sort of genocide going on of Muslims. Yes, Maharaja's rule was very autocratic, and there are incidents that Maharaja's soldiers or police militia did attack some people, and many of them were Muslims. But Muslim was in majority, and political mobilization was really growing. So it was very unlikely that there was any such thing was going to happen.
Sure.
The massacre that happened in Mirpur and Jammu happened after Indian and Pakistani forces came in.
Fine. Okay. Well, before I go into the kind of party political divisions of Kashmir, there's a few things I want to ask you with regards to Maharaja and the population at the time of the invasion. But before I do that, I just want to remind our viewers that if you have any questions, please do phone in. I think the numbers are going to go on screen very shortly. If you have any questions about any of the things that we're discussing, you're welcome to phone in. This is really about answering your questions and your information. I just want to continue there, Shams. So, Pakistan invaded Kashmir and India invaded Kashmir. What position did leaving aside the political parties in Kashmir, what position did the Maharaja have at the time, and what position did the population of Kashmir have at the time? What did they want?
Yeah. Well, Maharaja, like I said earlier, Maharaja wanted to stay independent.
Okay.
And because, one end of
even though Kashmir and Pakistan had both invaded?
Yes, even then. But when the tribals from Pakistani side and local Kashmiris as well, it's not just tribal. Tribal actually came in, like, in 87 now, the Kashmiri movement was indigenous from inside.
Sure.
But then obviously Pakistanis tried to use that for their own interests, or say we want to support this and all that. There are different interpretations, like India did with Bangladesh.
Sure.
All these things afterwards. Initially, it was a Kashmiri movement. Even against Maharaja in 1947, it was a local population that had grievances against Maharaja's system, and they want a more democratic, more responsible government. But when all this invasion happened, and then at one point, Maharaja then asked India for help. Yeah?
Right.
And then, like I said, there is a dispute whether the document was signed on that day or afterwards, or was never signed, or it was whether the signs were genuine or not. That there is debate about that.
What did he ask the help for?
To help against the invasion
from Pakistan.
From Pakistan.
Okay.
And And again, it was the accession was that foreign affairs, defense, and communication.
Okay.
That will be the responsibility of Indian government.
Okay.
Maharaja will be independent in its internal
I'm just
affairs.
going to stop you there, Risham. So I think we have a caller online.
Okay.
Hello?
Wasim?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam ji.
Ji sir, what question do you have?
Well, my name is Abdul Rashid. I'm from Nottingham.
Acha, mashallah, yeah.
And I've got a problem with at the moment, dispute going on with the Pakistan government.
Right.
I'm
I hope
taking
you're
them
not
to
going to
the
ask
High
us to
Court
resolve your
London
disputes.
because it's a concern with Kashmir.
Yes, yes.
And they confiscated, you see, my goods worth over £100,000. So I have no other choice but I have to make a claim against them that they have no right to charge the custom duty taking my goods to Mir Prazad, Kashmir. Do you understand me?
Yes,
Hello?
I think I partly understand your problem. But anyway, what?
Yeah, no, so what exactly do you want to know from us?
Well, what I'd like to ask you, is the Pakistan government is right on the way to stop my goods, take them to Mir Prazad, Kashmir, without paying them the custom duty? Because the part of Kashmir is not belongs to Pakistan anyway. So why should I pay the duty to government of Pakistan?
I'm not a legal expert, but I presume it would be along the lines of that in order for something to enter into Kashmir, either way,
Yes.
it still has to go through Pakistani territory. Without being a legal expert, if there was a direct, maybe this is the whole strategy of India and Pakistan, to have no direct international link. You can't fly into Kashmiri territory. You have to go either via India or via Pakistan. Therefore, you would have to either enter into Pakistani jurisdiction first or Indian jurisdiction first. I mean, I'm not the legal expert, but that kind of does have some, whether it's right or wrong, that it could be some kind of
I
international
think
law.
that we will note down the question,
Yeah.
and we will either ourselves ask somebody who is expert in legal issues, or we will invite somebody here, maybe next week or week after. We have quite few legal experts, Kashmiri, who are in Britain particularly. I can think of Dr. Nazir Gilani, and there are some other people who have expertise in that area especially.
But I think it's a very important
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
because, I mean, if you think about the number of people that live in the UK from Mirpur and Azad Kashmir, obviously this could affect, and now there are growing businesses and
Yeah.
very, very affluent people, and I'm sure it could affect many people. So like Shamastab said, we'll try our best. We don't have the answer for you now, but we'll try and get that answer for maybe future programs.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether you can take goods free of charge, but as Adnan saying, we definitely look into it, what is the legal position, and how much, and on what grounds they can charge.
Sure. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Very kind.
Thank you. So I just want to move on. So Maharaja's position is clear. The population's picture is clear. So where does the political parties enter there with regards to the Muslim Conference and National
Yeah,
Conference?
Muslim Conference and National Conference, like we said in last program, that they were the majority parties.
Okay.
I mean, big parties, mass parties.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third one was Mazdoor Kisan Conference.
Okay.
National Conference and Muslim Conference, like I briefly said last week, they almost agreed with Maharaja that he will be the figurehead and there will be proper elections.
This is a national
and it will
conference.
be elected government. Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them had agreement on this.
Okay.
They agreed. They were consensus. Mazdoor Kisan Conference opposed to that, and they said we want abolish monarchy altogether.
Right.
Full stop. Full republic, democratic system.
Okay.
And so that was the position of these parties.
Right.
But when invasion happened and all that, then position changed.
Okay.
National Conference was ideologically very close to Indian National Congress, and Muslim Conference was very close to Pakistan Muslim League.
So it was a natural division, I suppose.
That is how Kashmir was divided.
Okay.
And when Kashmir was, there was fight and all that, then it is very important to know how United Nations came in.
Okay.
Because the case was taken to United Nations by Indian government, led by Nehru.
So the Indian government took the Kashmir issue to the United Nations,
To
even
United
though
Nations.
they were the first people to invade the independent Kashmir.
Well, their claim was that Pakistan invaded,
Okay.
and we went on the invitation of Maharaja. And they asked the United Nations to broker a ceasefire and take up charge of this issue and resolve it.
Okay.
Yeah, and they wanted United Nations to declare Pakistan as aggressor, I think. But again, this is an area where I am not expert.
Sure.
But definitely, what happened was that United Nations then sort of managed to convince India and Pakistan for a ceasefire. That was, I think, on 1st of January 1948.
Right.
And so a ceasefire was agreed, and it is that line which is now people know by the name of line of control.
Okay. I think we have a map of the divisions of Kashmir.
Yes.
We're going to get that map up in a minute, so
Yeah,
maybe you
we
can
can
elaborate
see
to
it.
us a bit more about that.
That's right.
But what you just mentioned earlier on, I presume that there is the seed of the Kashmiri conflict. This misinterpretation
Exactly.
of what their motives were.
Yes, that is the major actually difference between India, Pakistani governments and Kashmiri people who want Kashmiri people to decide the future of Kashmir.
Okay, fine.
Because India claimed that Kashmir is integral part of India,
Yeah.
and Pakistani claimed that Kashmir is integral part of Pakistan.
Okay.
The term they use is Sharag.
Right.
And the term Indian use is Atutang.
Right.
Atutang is integral part and Sharag is jugular vein.
Okay.
So that is what they call Kashmir.
Okay.
And Kashmiris obviously say, well, it's better if we decide because it's our country.
We live here,
Yes.
and we should have autonomy to
Yes,
decide.
and they were promised in United Nations, India and Pakistan. That is also very, very important for
Okay.
people to know.
Okay.
Because some people say the Kashmiris want separation
Right.
from India or from Pakistan. When you are not part of anything, how you can
separated.
be asking for separation?
Sure.
When there is no marriage, how you can ask for separation?
Okay, it
So-
was their basically their basic right, not something that was taken away and then reclaimed.
Exactly.
Okay.
They were forcefully. That is the argument that the invasion was forced.
We're just going to look at this map. The map's coming up in a moment here.
Yeah.
So you have here what is now, or what is the full extent of Kashmir.
Well, that is the entire state of Kashmir,
Okay.
and this shows different regions basically of Kashmir. The Jammu, the Punch, and Valley, and Ladakh, and Gilgit, and Baltistan. But it does not really show the line that divides Kashmir.
Right.
There is another map where you can see that line as well. Here,
So broadly speaking, you have the green shaded area.
yes,
That is the area, the bottom half of the green shaded area, I presume that is Azad Kashmir.
right, yes, certainly. The green part is under Pakistani control,
Okay.
and the rest is under Indian control.
Indian control.
And the bottom half of green on the left hand side, the whole strip
Yeah.
is that is Azad Kashmir,
Right.
and the top bit is Gilgit Baltistan.
Well, if that is Azad Kashmir, or that is, how is it that the strip in the far left-hand corner, the green strip, that is Azad Kashmir?
That is right.
Surely the top end, which is the Gilgit and Baltistan, surely that should also be Azad Kashmir. But why is that seen as a part of Pakistan then?
That is something which also needs explanation, because when the ceasefire was finalized, the United Nations formed a commission to go and look into the issue and discuss it with Indians and Pakistani politicians and rulers, that how that can be resolved and what they can agree on. So first resolution by United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan, which some people argue that initially the name of the commission was United Nations Commission for Jammu Kashmir.
Right.
But on the insistence of Pakistani representatives in United Nations, that name was changed from United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan to United Nations Commission for, from Jammu Kashmir to Pakistan.
Okay.
And the first resolution passed by United Nations Commission on 13th of August 1948 stated about the future of Kashmir that it will be decided by the people of Kashmir through a democratic plebiscite.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that, when that resolution was passed,
Sure.
again the Pakistanis and Indians who had access to United Nations delegates and United Nations committee members and more access than Kashmiris, and obviously at that time, by then, Kashmiri like Sheikh Abdullah was very close and speaking the language of Indian government, and Ghulam Abbas Saab and all others, they were Sardar Ibrahim Saab, they were speaking, I think they found themselves in a position that they had to speak the language of the Pakistani government.
Sure.
And
Well, I will just say, we are running out of time, so I think what you're talking about now is the political divisions. I think that nicely leads on to our next episode.
Yes.
But with regards to just a summary of...
The reason why Gilgit-Baltistan is with Pakistan is
Okay.
that on 28th of April, 1949,
Right.
a agreement was signed, according to Pakistani sources, that it was signed between Pakistani minister and Azad Kashmiri Sadr at that time, President, Mr. Ibrahim Khan, that these areas, Gilgit-Baltistan areas, were given into the administration of Pakistan for strategical reasons, because Pakistan needed those areas for strategical reasons.
Okay.
So therefore, these were handed over in the temporary administration of Pakistan.
Okay. By the government of
Azad Kashmir.
Azad Kashmir.
The president, Sardar Ibrahim, who afterwards repeatedly denied signing of any such agreement, and also the people in Gilgit-Baltistan also questioning who gave him authority to sign their fate.
So now Pakistan's claim that Gilgit-Baltistan is part of Kashmir, that is also a misinterpretation.
No, they claim, well, there are different interpretations. One is that it is part of Pakistan.
Okay.
Although they say that it is a final decision will be made with the entire state of Jammu Kashmir, but at the same time they claim that it is part of Pakistan. They show that as part of Pakistan.
Okay. I think we're going to have to leave it there for this week, Shamsab. I think we'll continue next week with the political divisions that now arise in Azad Kashmir. So on that note, viewers, thank you very much for watching the show again. We look forward to see you again next week. And in the meantime, if you do have any questions, please email us at info@kbcchannel.tv and we'll try to address those next week. Until then, Allah Hafiz.